I tell people all the time, boxing allowed me to get a lot of my anger out just like anything else and deal with certain things but Muay Thai is what saved my life. And so almost 15 years, we're about 13 years in for Muay Thai, and it utterly changed my life. Just the
Wow.
entire respect of it and competing and seeing the difference in how the respect is given between the fighters, especially after the fight. I love the ceiling of the ring, the Y crew, everything about it is beautiful. And then the amount of respect after the bout is amazing. And the friends I've made, even in the losses I've suffered, the friends I've made is been utterly amazing. So
Yeah, well, keep in mind, I mean, for them, it was a tradition.
yes, sir.
It's just not a sport. It's a
Yes, sir.
tradition. And you're talking about the little kids, and you've been to Thailand and talking about the little kids that are out there kicking the
Yeah.
banana trees and all that. And shit does happen. And but it's a whole martial arts type of thing. And it was a trip because when I was in the taekwondo, we had the gis, right? And I'd
Mhm.
be walking back to the base, and all the cab drivers, Sawadee kap, kunao toy my cap. Toy my cap, they would all be messing with me, man. So,
Yeah.
so no, it was a blessing. So my school was ASK, the American School of Kickboxing,
Oh
and
man.
I opened it up with just a credit card, But Javier Mendez now, that's a top trainer that trains Habib and all these guys. I worked with him, Dennis Alexio, and
Mhm.
I mean just so many of the great guys at that time, and that's how I got started. That's my whole passion, and and at work, I mean, hey, bro, I went up to the Buddhist monasteries, I had lunch with the monks. I
Mhm.
went into the jungles and, I mean, I did, boy, pom Thai. I was tired. Shit, I was tired at that time, bro. Yeah. Shit, I came back a different man.
Shit, I'm about to go wait in this place when you dropping the bass in. The beat is like the streets of awaken. I'm making to break my foot off of somebody's ass. I'm waiting for someone to say my name so I can annihilate them. Okay, then everyone was screaming the rape when I was kicking at the gate till it caved in. Belly scraping by, but now I'm paid. Look at the paper I raped and I'm caking like Jay-Z and Drake. And I hate when people say that I ain't killing shit. The game is my playpen. I punch you in the face and end up breaking your break bands. I'm far from Hollywood. I'm posted up at the days in. Even though the industry say I'm the latest sensation. Drop the stuff at the board show. Becoming complacent. Mama saw me on TV with just a bum in the basement. You were catching save a whole
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's the You Control You podcast. You already know how we do. What am I grateful for today? Of course, family, God, family, life overall. What I'm most grateful for this weekend or this Monday after this weekend is if you've been following my journey, didn't come from the greatest childhood, and being able to watch my 15-year-old son just get to do the things he loves and play sports and excel at sports and just do it with a big smile on his face. When I played football, I just did it because I was angry at the world and just wanted to knock everybody's head off. And so to see my son just play because he absolutely loves it and then plus watching him get really mad that he didn't play the best and going over film study with him is just that I'm really grateful for that. And what a blessing that I get to enjoy that as a father. So now, without further ado, I have this legendary icon. I am still blown away that I'm able to sit here with this man. Most of you know him from either boxing, MMA, kickboxing. Some of you that maybe aren't into the fight world maybe have seen him on the Creed movies working. But I'm sitting here with the one and only Stitch Duran. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing all right, man. You got me up early in the morning, bro. Normally it's not I don't get up till 10 in the morning. But this
I
is a special interview, man. I appreciate you.
Oh man, thank you. And I appreciate you going through all the technical difficulties with us. Not only
Yeah.
did this man get up early to get to do this with us, but he had to go through some technical difficulties, with technology. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
So, man, sir, let's get right into it. How's
Sure.
life? How are you? How's the family? How's everybody doing?
Thank God, man. We're all blessed, and I just every day I just thank God that I'm doing what I'm doing. And people say, "Well, when are you going to retire?" I said, "From what?" I said, "What I'm doing. It's not even a job, bro. It's an adventure, right?" So how can you retire from adventures? But I've been blessed, man. So thanks for having me on. And yeah, you know it has to be special. And I love your voice, by the way. Once you turn it on, you sound just like a DJ. But
Thank you.
I'm sure Corey's helping you with the sound. So got to give him some credit.
Most definitely. Most definitely. And I appreciate that. So here's a question right off the bat.
Yeah.
How did you get into this? How did you become a cut man? Taping people's hands. Like, if people don't understand, I use your tape at our gym. The way you tape hands is the way I started taping hands, watching your videos on and doing it, and then seeing the different styles of rapping and taping hands and speaking with other people in this profession. They all look to you. So how did you get into this profession?
Yeah, well, you got to read the book, bro. It's at Amazon.com.
Let's go.
No, it is. It's called From the Fields to the Garden, and we'll talk about that down the road. But now, I have a great history. As we talked, before we got on the air, they're in the finishing touches of a documentary in my life called From the Fields to the Garden, the same as the book. The book I wrote when I was with the UFC, like 10, 12 years ago, and became a top seller. So, but anyway, it just, this gives me the opportunity to kind of express and show everybody what has happened, with me in my life. And so I've been real blessed with just doing the things that I'm doing. But I grew up as a farm worker in the Central Valley of California, and I always wanted to play baseball. All Mexicans play baseball, right?
Yeah.
And so I walked on to Merced College, which was like 9 miles away from my town, and I didn't have a car. So I would go to school with friends, and after school they would leave, and I'd stay in practice with the team, and I'd have to hitchhike home. And so I knew nothing about grants and scholarships. You were talking earlier how, we've all had a tough life somehow, right?
Yes, sir.
And but I didn't know. So I joined the military in 1972 in the Air Force. Well, first I was going to go in the Navy. I mean, show you how life takes me, because my brother Michael, a year older than me, was in the Navy, and I went and I took the physical, and I flunked my physical because my knee popped, and I had hurt it playing baseball. So the doctor says, "No, man, you got to go get surgery." And I was all bummed out, man. But the Marine recruiter, there was he's the one that tried to get me to go to the Marines. And I said, "No, no, no." I said, I don't want to go to Vietnam. I just want to serve my country. But he's the one that got me into the Air Force. So I never knew his name and all that, but he sent me to Oakland, and he says, "Well, just don't tell him about your knee." And I did, and I passed, and I joined the Air Force. And I always said if I went to the Orient, I'd always want to study the martial arts. That was during the Bruce Lee era, way before your time. And so anyway, they stationed me in a place called Thailand, and shit, I didn't even know what Thailand was. And I had friends that were there like 3 months before me, and they were already acclimated, so they took me downtown Banchan to see some fights, and I didn't even know Muay Thai fights were about. This guy threw a kick and kind of knocked the guy out, and I said, "Oh, all right." So on the base they had Taekwondo, but Taekwondo Thailand sounds the same. So I started taking that, and the Koreans kind of filtered off, and the Thais took over, and they kind of transitioned us, and yeah, so that's how I got started and got back to the States. And I lived in Oakland, and I got into boxing just to improve my hands, and started working with amateur fighters, and then I moved out to Fairfield, suburbs, 40 miles away from Oakland, and I opened up a school of kickboxing with just a credit card. And so I was a trainer, before I was a cut man, and I had to learn to be a cut man because I worked with a lot of high end world class fighters, and of course when you use elbows and all that, they get cut. And so in that era, now you said you learn from watching my videos. And the reason I do those is because I'll never forget Marvis Frazier fought Bone Crusher Smith in Richmond, California. And I went to go see it. I had my school of kickboxing, but I was making the transition into being a cut man also. And I asked this guy that did a good job in one of the cuts in earlier fights. I said, "Look, I'm trying to learn to be a cut man. Can you tell me what you did?" He says, "Fuck you." He says, "I'm taking this to my grave, and you got to learn like me." And he walked away. I felt about this big, bro. I said, I'm never going to be like this guy. So that's why you got that video. So my job is to teach. It's not even about making money. I put a video out about 4 months ago called "Giving the Fighter One More Round." It's at stitchduran.com, and it's only $50, but it shows you how to wrap hands for boxing, for MMA, how to work cuts, how to work the swelling, the medication, everything that I know. I put it in a seminar form for $50, but it's to teach. That's my whole legacy, bro. Just to, at the end of my career, what did I do? Is hopefully I help make this game a lot safer.
Oh man, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
So I own a Muay Thai kickboxing gym. I've been to Thailand, trained. I coach MMA fighters as well, and I started back in '99. I started boxing over at Rufus with Rick Rufus, and so I started boxing with those guys, and so it's, man, your first one of your first things, Muay Thai. That's just amazing.
I was. This is 1972, bro. Number one, I didn't know what Muay Thai was, and Muay Thai was non-existent in the United States.
No, not at all.
And it was not. And I tell you, when I got back home, my whole family didn't know I trained that. I mean, I literally ate, slept, and shit Muay Thai, and I hung out with Thais and spoke the language pretty well. I was there for a whole year, right? And but yeah, it kind of changed my whole life, and
oh, that's amazing. That's during
that's crazy. But Rick Rufus, I used to work with Dennis Alexio. Dennis Alexio was a heavyweight champ of the world at that time, and Rick Rufus was the top dog, and Jean-Claude, Jean-Yves Theriault, and all these guys. But I had a solid stable of fighters, and it's funny, about 3 weeks ago, they had the IKF convention here, tournament. Well, going way back, I'm the one that promoted the first IKF fights for Steve Fossum, and I had the first champion out of IKF. That was Andy Sanchez. So when I gave up the what fight was that? Oh, Pacquiao fight. I'd rather go to IKF and just go back. Steve Fossum was the president that put it together, and he passed away. But Johnny Davis. So I went over there, and just for the roots, nothing more, just to get my roots back, and
that's awesome.
So yeah, so that's. But I went back, and one of my instructors, Master Sken, now he's up in England, and he brought Muay Thai to the Manchester area. I went back home or back to England, and he certified me as a crew and all that. So yeah, it's that's what got me going,
awesome.
Man. Yeah,
that's so awesome. Yeah, no. I tell people all the time, boxing allowed me to get a lot of my anger out, just like anything else, and deal with certain things, but Muay Thai is what saved my life. And so almost 15 years, we're about 13 years in for Muay Thai, and it utterly changed my life. Just the entire respect of it, and competing and seeing the difference in how the respect is given between the fighters, especially after the fight. I love the ceiling of the ring, the Y crew, everything about it is beautiful. And then the amount of respect after the bout is amazing. And the friends I've made, even in the losses I've suffered, the friends I've made has been utterly amazing. So that's a small world there.
Yeah, well, keep in mind, I mean, for them it was a tradition.
Yes, sir.
It's just not a sport. It's a tradition. And you're talking about the little kids, and you've been to Thailand, and talking about the little kids that are out there kicking the banana trees and all that. That shit does happen.
Yeah.
Right. And but it's a whole martial arts type of thing. And it was a trip, because when I was in the taekwondo, we had the gis, right? And I'd be walking back to the base, and all the cab drivers, Sawadee ka, kunao toy, toy my cap. Toy my cup, they would all be messing with me, man. So it was a blessing, and so my school was ASK, the American School of Kickboxing, and I opened it up with just a credit card, But Javier Mendez now, that's a top trainer that trains Habib and all these guys. I worked with him, Dennis Alexio, and I mean, just so many of the great guys at that time, and that's how I got started. That's my whole passion, and and at work, I mean, hey, bro, I went up to the Buddhist monasteries. I had lunch with the monks. I went into the jungles, and I mean, I did, boy, boom Thai. I was tired. Shit, I was tired at that time, bro. Yeah. Shit, I came back a different man. Yeah,
I feel that. No, that's amazing.
Ah.
That's absolutely amazing.
And you're the first one to ever hear this story. I've never really told. Was it because you can't associate unless you've been there.
Yes, yes.
And to think that I was literally one of the pioneers. As you look back at it, Knight, who was in Thailand in 1974? Shit, I was.
Yeah, no, that's one of the things that I was going to touch on is you were there during what we call I guess what we call now is the golden era of Muay Thai. When you watch these fighters, it's bananas. Like, they're great now, but I love looking back at the films of all these great fighters that came up through the stadiums. And yeah, America didn't have a clue. The US had no idea. It didn't even, the crossover didn't even happen until Rick Rufus got his leg smashed in after breaking the guy's jaw and had to get carried out. And then it started to click over a little bit more. People understood it a little bit more. So that's amazing that you were way before all of that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Oh, man.
I'm telling you, it was a trip, man. Just to really understand the culture, and I mean, because number one, when I was working as a cop, I was a cop in the Air Force, and our job was always to protect the B-52s, the bombs, because that was the base where they would load the B-52s up, go to Nam and drop them and come back. So we had to protect that.
Yeah.
But so it was always me and a Thai guard, and that's why I picked up on the language. Everything I did, I wrote it down, and Sawadee Kap, Kun Sabadia, Tamalai Kap, and I wrote it all down, and
Yeah.
and it came back, and it's pretty badass.
You are really fluent in Thai. This is amazing right now. This is awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy because there's a Cuban coach here, Salas, great coach, but he was in Thailand many years, and he worked with the Thai boxing court. But he also became a nun. And then a monk. He also became a monk, right? And he showed me pictures and all that. Well, he's Cuban, I'm Mexican. Shit, we're speaking Thai.
Yeah. Fluently.
Yeah.
Like,
with
the accent
pretty
and
much.
everything. Like,
Yes.
it's amazing. You are hitting it perfectly.
Yeah, I tell you, it was a passion, man, and just to spend every day, and as a martial, I'd be on post, working. I'd be up in one of the towers or something like that. Hell, I'd be stretching, and I'd be
that's
doing
awesome,
this
man.
and all that, and and it's hot and humid because we're right on the beach in the
Yes,
jungle,
sir.
and your uniforms would be all wet, but that's
That's the life.
that was a life.
I'm hoping to go back. I was there last summer. I'm hoping to go back next summer. It's like my guys always go there every year now. Like, some of them just got back this past week, and we have a great partnership with the gym over there. And they treat us very well. But now that's awesome. That means you really got to enjoy fighters like Samart and like just all these golden era Thai fighters. Oh man, that's amazing.
Yeah, Saksan was actually Saksan was that was during my era.
Yeah,
and then after that, a lot of the Thais. Saksan was the first one. After that, a lot of the Thais started coming in, and by then I was already making a transition out of that. But yeah,
man, that's awesome.
and we still every once in a while we'll see each other. Saksan, sawadika, tamalaka, hey, goodbye, bye night, bye night.
But I tell you, if people don't understand, I first of all, you go to Thailand. This is also blew my mind about Thailand. At least in Bangkok. Now, I was able to travel outside of Bangkok and not just stay in Bangkok, but it's like 7-Eleven everywhere in Thailand now. And when I say Stitch sounds I feel like I just walked into a Thai place right now. And I'm like, that's amazing. That's utterly amazing. Yeah. And let's stay with Muay Thai because I mentioned Matt Brown earlier, and you said you had a great story about the
Yeah, Matt Brown.
Immortal Matt Brown. Now that's my guy. So I'm waiting to hear this story. This is going to be awesome.
So this is in favor of Matt Brown. I love Matt, right? Worked a lot of his fights and all that. But in this one, he's fighting Drago, Pete Sell.
Mm-hmm.
And he's beating the crap out of Pete Sell to the point where the referee stops the fight. And Pete Sell, he's arguing with the referee and the doctor and all that. And I come in and I look at him and I said, Drago, look at me. You got knocked out. You got knocked out, I said, twice.
Mm.
He looks at the doctor and the referee. He goes, Stitch, I believe. But Matt Brown, but Matt Brown just pummeled him big time, man.
Yeah.
And that was the thing that I'll never forget. I always tell that story. Well, whenever I do that, Pete Sells, he says, yeah, Stitch, I believe. And but yeah, I worked a lot of match fights, a lot of them. If you see him, tell him I said hi.
I got you. I'll send him. I'll actually send. Yeah, I got you. I will definitely.
Yeah, tell him about that moment. I'm sure he'll have his own memories.
Yeah.
And just like John Jones, I hadn't seen John Jones. God, I've been gone 10 years. I think last week, 2 weeks ago was my 10th anniversary of leaving the UFC. But he brought me in to work that dirty boxing that they have.
Mm-hmm.
And I told John, I hadn't seen him in all time. I said, look, man, I just want to let you know, when you fought Chael Sonnen and you broke your toe, I don't know if you remember that.
Yes.
When you broke his toe, he was pointing one way. After the fight, the doctor says, Stitch, what do you think? And the doctor's asking me, right? And so I got the toe, and I was telling Johnny, and I kind of straightened it out, and then I taped it. I just came out with my Stitch premium tape, and that's what I used to tape his toe. And the camera's got a scope of it. I said, man, you were my first commercial. So it's a little moment. Yeah, he started laughing, man. And the same thing with John. I worked all his fights, and but that was cool because when I'd rep his hands, he's always looking here, talking to people and all that. I made him pay attention. I said, no. I said, look, open, close, open, close. You're in my time right now, brother.
I feel that. Oh man. So you've worked so many fights, and you've been blessed to work with so many different fighters in different organizations. Now,
yeah.
I don't know if you have a preference, so I don't want to word the question that way. But do you, if they told you had one more fight, one more fight to really work a corner in, which, if you had to choose, would it be boxing, kickboxing, MMA? Which do you think you would lean towards if they said, this is it? This was the last one?
Oh, good question. Nobody's ever asked that one. Hold on, man. I got to go back to my roots. I could go deep into the roots, but I got to do it in Thailand. I'd have to be Muay Thai fights.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, Lumpini Stadium was like the big thing,
Yeah.
Yeah, you go there and you're doing okay.
Yes, sir. That's funny. That is one of our goals. If having our fighters fight right there. Yeah. That might be, I think for me, that might personally as a coach, that's probably a bigger goal for me than even coaching in a UFC fight right now, just because of just the understanding of how big it would be and the understanding the culture and being there and watching fights and listening to it and how the music speeds up as the round gets late. It's just, it's a different kind of feeling, man. As you know already, I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but that's amazing. It will be a Muay Thai fight. Yeah, I did not expect that.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good point. But listen, I'm 73 years old, man. I've been all over. I've done all this, but it'd be nice just now that you mention it. Shit, I'm talking to my wife about going to Thailand for about a week or two.
Let's go.
And just hang out, man. The base I was at, Utapao, was like it was touching the ocean and beautiful beaches, and then the other side of the base is jungle. So we had them all, right? And so yeah, I was living the life, man.
That's awesome.
I was literally in a Bruce Lee movie. So that was a blessing.
Now you talked about, but again, before we got started, you talked about how with the Klitschko brothers and Brock Lesnar, you had to do different things just to get their hands in the gloves.
Yeah,
and first of all, it's just mind blowing to hear. How did you? How do I want to phrase this? How did you Did you just say, yeah, Vaseline, like we'll just slide this bad boy in? Or was it trial and error? Like, how'd you figure it out?
Hell no, it worked for the Klitschko's. It worked for him, you know. So and nobody's ever done that, right?
Yeah.
And I don't even know if it's legal in the states, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But let me do this. Give me a second. You know, you can see me, right?
Yes, sir.
Give me a second. Hold on.
I think I know what he's about to do. This is about to be mind blowing.
Oh yeah, it's gonna blow your mind big time. So this is a UFC glove, right?
Yes, sir.
Bro, this is a Brock Lesnar glove.
That's insane. That's insane. Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
And I got it. Yeah. He signed it for me and everything.
Oh
and
man, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I had to show you that. So
yeah, that's a huge
it's
size
a big
difference right there.
Yeah.
Those
and
are
it's
some
cool,
amazing
man, because
details.
when Brock Lesnar came on to the UFC, same with Crow Cup, they came with stipulations that I'd be the one working with them. And my daughter is a big WWE fan, so when Brock came for his first fight after the weigh-ins at the Mandalay Bay, and never forget, we go in the back and I do a test run on his wraps, and the day before the fight, right? And I always do that with new fighters anyway. Is I'll do a test run and make any adjustments. So anyway, cut them off and give them to my daughter, and
Nice.
so she got the first pair of
man.
gloves. But I did the reality show with him. I was the coach or the Cutman in his team, and these fighters. Well, every show that I did, they always give me a tank top with the team that I work with, Couture, BJ Penn, and all that. Well, I told Brock that, and he brought me a whole bag of stuff, which was nice. Yeah, just super guy, man. You know, and he always treated me extremely well. And
that's awesome.
So I've been blessed.
The way you described the way you just described doing your job, or as you said, your adventure.
Yeah.
My wife is always on me. You're going to retire one day. And I'm like, from what? I'm like, this isn't work. I get to wake up and coach people. No, this is what I love to do. So when you said adventure, I think I'm going to steal that one. I do like the way you worded that. So, but the way you described it sounds really no different than how, as a coach, we prepare for fights, or how we tell the fighters to mentally prepare and go through it. You're wrapping their hands the night before and then making adjustments to that. Now, what do those adjustments look like? So if you take someone, the Klitschko's or a Matt Brown or Andre Ward or Brock Lesnar, or anyone, Kane, anyone you've worked with, what do those adjustments look like?
Yeah, a lot of it is psychology, but you look at injuries, where injuries, if they have any injuries. Let's say I'm wrapping your hands for the first time, right? So we sit you down and I look at you, I say, hey man, how the hands feel? You know, any injuries, any problems, and you know, and all that. But metacarpals, number one injury, right? You know, you punch and boom, you do that. And so that's number one. So you always want to protect the metacarpals and do it as tight as you can. All this you can do as tight as you can. Not so much on the bottom, because that's where all the veins and all that go, and you don't want to close them up. But you make your adjustments. Some guys like less padding than others, you know. So you go through, it's what I call a dress rehearsal, and you go then that way the next day, because psychology is a big you brought that up. So, and you know, with your fighters, psychology is a major thing. It's a hurt business. So you gotta, these guys have to, you gotta baby them. And even though they're gladiators, 100%, and but when you wrap their hands come fight time, then that is off the shoulder. You mentioned Andre Ward. Virgil had Hunter, his coach, had told me that he had hurt his hand during training, and this is getting ready for a fight, I think with Edison Miranda or something like that. So the night before, I go to his room and I wrap his hands, and I make little adjustments here, little adjustments there, to the point where he felt comfortable. And come fight time, that pressure was out of his mind. So, so psychology is, well, that's major. I mean, how many times have your fighters hugged you and kissed you after a fight and say, "Man, thanks, I love you." And that's
almost every time you go through a lot of hell through those camps, and just the mental, and I've talked about it on the podcast, like it's just the mental wear and tear of it, especially as you get closer to the fight and now you're weight cutting and it just gets harder.
That's the worst part.
Yeah.
But I years ago, before Mike got his tattoos, I interviewed Mike Tyson, and I said, Mike, every fighter has that one little thing that nobody has. What's that one little thing? And he said a couple of things. Well, he goes, you got to get your body in 100% physical condition, because your mind will tell your body what to do, or your body will tell your mind what to do. And but he said the one I liked is take the pain. You got to take the pain. And as I left, I said, man, he's so right, because you take a pain in training, take a pain in fights, you take a pain with your family, as you mentioned, you take a pain financially, and hopefully you don't take long-term damage pain. And but it's a hurt business.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That was, you're hitting the nail on the head on that one.
Yeah. Eddie Mustafa Muhammad was a former world champion boxer. He says the ultimate goal of a fighter is to render his opponent unconscious.
Yep.
And that's the knockout. And the knockout what creates long-term damage.
Yeah. It's so funny talking about fighting, because it is extremely brutal. And there's whether you're fighting, you're coaching, if you're any part of this business, when you're working in that corner, all you want is your guy, your fighter, to go knock that person out and not get hurt themselves, and be able to go home and be okay. And it's the craziest thing in the world when you really take the time to think about it.
Yeah, well, and you understand, because you've been on both sides, right? And the mental game and all that. And Andre Duran, when he fought Jose Esquidigi, that was the rematch. And if you remember, Andre Duran's uncle is the one in the first fight, the end of the fight, he went up to the other corner and he hooked him, the fighter, and dropped him, and there was a big old fight in the ring. Anyway, on the rematch, Andre Duran was taking the kind of shots that I look at as long-term damage.
Yeah.
Kind of going through here and come out through here, right?
Yep.
And I'm looking at the ringside doctors, and they're kind of talking amongst themselves. And so when the bell rings, it's 7th, 8th round. I go in there and I say, look, the doctors are thinking of stopping the fight. Do you want to continue? And just him and I, and whispering. And he gives me that little slight no, and it's all right, stop, I told the referee. And Virgil Hunter and his grandfather were the coaches. No, one more round. I said, nope. As long as he said no, he's done. I'm not going to let him go out there. Man, the next day, and nobody knew what was going on, right? The next day, about 8 a.m, him and his wife called me. And they said, Stitch, I want to thank you, man. He goes, I had nothing in me, So he knew, and I knew, and so that took a lot of heart and courage and knowledge to protect him. I saw him about 3 months ago when Benavidez fought here in Vegas, and I hadn't seen Andre in that time. He comes up to me, Stitch, I love you, man.
Oh, man.
Because of you, I'm speaking as well as I can,
Yeah,
and
that's awesome.
That's a nice compliment. Yeah.
A lot of people wouldn't have done that. And so that's absolutely amazing, because if a fighter's to the point where they're saying no, they're done. Like, it's one thing to have that doubt, but if now you're shaking your head no, you're done.
Yes.
Like,
and
you're done.
You're not done. Why would I let you go out there if you're not 100% mentally, physical to be ready to take that challenge on?
Especially if you're getting beaten like that. And the way you describe those punches, that means his brain, he may have woken up if he did one more round, he may have woken up at 8 a.m. getting rushed to the hospital, or maybe not waking up at all. And we've seen the downside of that before. So that's.
I mean, Vladimir Klitschko, you brought up Vladimir Klitschko, my last fight with him. And as a matter of fact, he's in this documentary. They filmed him in Kiev. But the last fight with him, we fought Anthony Joshua. I hadn't seen Vladimir and Vitaly till Friday at the weigh-ins, and because my daughter Carla had gotten married in Crete Wednesday, and then Thursday I flew to England. But I'm sitting there, and you're talking about the mental game, right? I'm talking to him and Vitaly, and going through the logics, this, that, what have you not. And finally I put my hand on his shoulder, Vladimir's shoulder. I said, look,
don't worry about nothing tomorrow. I'm going to take care of you like you're my son. And I leave. Because you know what it's like, man. You can't sleep at nights, right?
Yep.
I'm putting the final Vaseline on him, bro, right before Michael Buffer does the announcements and in front of 90,000 crazy Brits. And we're about this far apart. And he says, you could call me son. You know, and I said, wow, that gave me chills. But I knew the understanding because he knew I was there to protect him.
Yeah.
And he lost his title, but he said it was one of the best fights he ever had in his career.
Yeah.
And the last time I saw him in person was like 3 months later in Germany. And I said very simply, I said, Vladimir, that one moment, why? He says, Stitch, he goes, there's very few people I trust in my life. You are one of them.
Oh,
it's crazy.
No, that's a blessing.
Yeah, you understand because you've been there. You know, you understand. You're getting those same kind of comments. But these guys are gladiators, man. But they're all babies. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Try. It's yes. You described it the best way possible.
Yeah.
The bigger, the more, the deeper they get into it, and the bigger their fights, the more you see the baby side, because it's like you live on both ends of the spectrum. You have to go in there and do some of the most brutal things.
Yeah.
That has no, and trying to explain this to people that don't ever do this, train, fight, or they're not a part of it. I'm like, you typically 9 out of 10 times, or 9.5 out of 10 times, don't even have a personal problem with the person that you're competing against. So
Never.
You got to go in there and cause the most damage you can. And you don't have a problem with this person. There's no emotional anger there. There's nothing there. You get in a street fight, it's 30 seconds. You're mad for 30 seconds. Your adrenaline kicks in, and then you can shut it off, and it's nothing. But you have to train differently, and you have to let out the most brutal side of yourself. And then, of course, you're going to see the flip side. You're going to see the biggest baby softy that you can possibly see, and that's the flip side of it. That's the best way to describe it.
Yep. Modern day gladiators.
Thank you for checking out the You Control You podcast with Mark Evans. Please check out part 2 of this episode, and don't forget to subscribe and follow our podcast. Thank you.
Shit, I'm about to go wasting in this place when you dropping the bass in. The beat is like the streets of awakening. I'm making to break my foot off of somebody's ass. I'm waiting for someone to say my name so I can annihilate them. Okay, then everyone was screaming the rape when I was kicking at the gate till it caved in. Belly scraping by, but now I'm paid. Look at the paper I raked and I'm caking like Jay-Z and Drake. And I hate when people say that I ain't killing shit. The game is my playpen. I punch you in the face and end up breaking your break bands. I'm far from Hollywood. I'm posted up at the days in. Even though the industry say I'm the latest sensation. Drop the stuff at the board show. They're coming complacent. Mama saw me on TV with just a bum in the basement. You a Captain Saber, who you just be tucking the cake in. I fuck your baby mama in the